Welcome to If Numbers Could Talk. My name is KEILYN. If Numbers Could Talk is a part of the Thinkering group. You can find us over at thinkering.space. You can also find at Thinkering Space the Thinkering Talks podcast, the Exofathom podcast, along with the Plank Talks with Joe. When you get a chance, please check out our merchandise. We have merchandise on our website, thinkering.space, as well as merchandise at teespring.com/thinkering shop. Please visit, grab a t-shirt, grab a mug. We'll appreciate it. And when you do, feel free to let us know that you've decided to become a member of any of our fan clubs. Today on If Numbers Could Talk, we will be discussing something a little simple to discuss, in my opinion, something that doesn't have to be overthought or over worried, something that we all do, whether we like it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not. However, it is not something I believe we really think about, whether it is in the times that it is happening, or rather we are simply out and about doing it. We just let it come to us. I do not believe that we think about what kind of spending we do during the holidays, and not just what kind of spending we do, what kind of spending do we do during certain years on the holidays. For instance, this year, an election year. What are your spending habits during this election year? What are your spending habits that you plan on having post-election during the holidays? Well, in today's episode, we'll be looking back at a few of the holidays that have passed and some of the election years of our past, just to compare a few and figure out, do we show some type of consistency? Is there a format in which we follow? Do we simply just go out and purchase, or do we purchase for particular reasons? Are there particular things that at this time of the year we are all looking forward to doing, we are all looking forward to having and or giving? Welcome to If Numbers Could Talk. So today's episode is, again, about electoral spending, but not the electoral spending that gets the campaign going. There's plenty of numbers on that. There's plenty of research you can do for that. For today's episode, I got all of my research from the National Retail Federation website. And the reason I went there is a lot of information about election years. There's a lot of information about shopping, but the National Retail Federation seemed to have the most in-depth information. I was able to go back 14 years, 16 years to get information, versus on some sites I was only able to really, or on some places, not even just sites, even if I tried to look up, like, say, Forbes or something like that to try to figure a few things out, most things would only give you about a year behind, maybe 3 years. I want to say the second shortest was about 3 or 4 years, but the National Retail Federation gave me 14 years of back information for shopping during the holidays. So, of course, that's going to be much more beneficial because I'm specifically looking for election years. Now, I will open with this. In every year before an election year, we were a little slightly higher than we were during that election year. We would be slightly lower, and moving into that election year, of course, spending would go up. But then we would look, and during the following year, it would fluctuate. It wasn't necessarily consistent. Sometimes after an election year, it was up. Sometimes after an election year, it was down. I can also note that there were 2 election years where it was lower than the year before, which also was a little interesting. For that information, I would request you do your own homework. This way, when you hear the information that I'm sharing, some of those things will jump out and you'll understand it as you're reading through it. Now, I like to start with filters, shopping filters. Now, I will open again with just basic information that's going to help you understand where we're going with this. Now, before we get to the shopping filters, of course, filters are not something that you utilize in person. Filters are something that we can utilize online. So let's start with 60% of shopping overall during the holidays is done online, whereas only 8% is done at outlets. That is very interesting considering discounts are a very, very huge thing. Everyone's looking for a discount, especially during the holidays. And if you're not looking for a discount, at bare minimum, they're looking for, I don't know. And of course, most people are looking for quality, but some people are really just looking for good customer service. And that's what this list I'm going to give you is going to help with understanding what are the things that the average consumer during the holidays, election year or not, is looking for. What is it that what are the motivations for sales? What is the motivation for a purchase, right? Now, the number one thing on this list, of course, is a sale. During any holiday, during any shopping experience, you're looking for a sale. That is essentially it. Now, let's be clear that when we're talking sales, this isn't necessarily a sale that's just random. Some of these sales are targeted sales. This entire research was done by including, they were looking at the holidays, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas. And I think there's another Super Saturday as well, or something that's like that. When I was reading, they were there. But these are the main holidays. These are the main times, the main days. This is the time frame in which these numbers were generated for. This is the time frame in which these filters were utilized, not just for basic shopping, but for your holiday season, which begins at Thanksgiving. So you have sales as number one, followed by quality is the next most important thing when it comes to shopping for people during the holidays. The selection of the merchandise. So of course that's, particular retailers and all of that good junk. Free shipping. I was a little shocked to see that so high. Like, that is a big sell point for some people. Oh, free shipping? Yeah, I'll buy that. Convenience. Convenience goes without saying, right? It's convenient. Something I can really get into. Everyday low prices, which means during the holidays, everyone's not looking for a sale. The first thing people are looking for is a sale, of course, but that's not what everyone is looking for. Some people are simply buying your regular stuff and they want your everyday price. They're not really worried about it. The ease of use. I think this is the most important for today's demographic, for today's time, seeing as how so much shopping is done online. The ease of use for purchases when it comes to your website or your website, your e-commerce site of any sort. If it's not easy to use, you could miss a few sales right then and there. No hassle returns. People love the ability to just send something back if it didn't fit right or if it didn't work properly. Whether it's for a refund or an exchange, people love that when there is no hassle. I personally do. Helpful service, helpful customer service will make a sale for some, not me. If I needed to go to customer service, we already had an issue that customer service is only going to help me get back out the door. It's not necessarily going to get me back in the door. Once I'm there, I just want to get out. Layaway. I didn't think layaway was still a thing that people did, but then I had to realize that layaway has always been a thing. They simply changed the name to payment plan. Still layaway. So that is something that people are still looking for. And of course, just other miscellaneous, everyone has preference. Everyone has reference. Some people are looking for price. Some people were told, hey, you're going to look for this particular item. And I'm sure that would change and that will fall under the other demographic for which filters will be used when people are concerned about shopping. Now, as I said, 60% of shopping is done online, or 60% of people plan to shop online and only 8% of people plan to go out to the outlets. Now, those people who are online, those people who are going to the outlets, we all want something. We all like things, right? So what are those main things that we're all looking for? Well, 54% of people said they were looking for gift cards and gift certificates to receive. That's what they were looking to receive during the holiday season. 47% of people said they were looking for clothes. If you get them a pair of clothes, that's what they're anticipating, and they're fine with that. Only 18% of people said they were looking for things, they would like to be gifted things that were related to home improvement. And 17% of people said that they would be interested in things that are related to leisure and sports. In between those things are your books, your electronics, your jewelry, and home improvement is not one of those. Home improvement was 18% of people said they were looking for gifts that are home improvement based. But above that, somewhere in the middle between clothes and home improvement was home decor. So where some people aren't asking for someone else to give them a shovel or something to help maintain their home, they are requesting you to maybe give them a throw for their couch, right? Something to help decorate, a nice new vase or a lamp, things of that nature. I think that's really fitting. I wouldn't want someone to go and buy me a bag of cement and say, hey, your driveway is a little messed up, just want to give you a gift. It would seem a little offensive. However, if someone comes to my house and they feel like maybe I don't have enough lighting in the area and they want to gift me a lamp, I would believe I would be, personally, me here, an emotional statement on If Numbers Can Talk, I would be less offended. But that is from an emotional stance. That's where you have to look at it from that. 90% of people aren't giving you a gift with you in mind. From my experience, people give you gifts with themselves in mind. They give you gifts for you to remember who gave it to you most of the time. So, as far as preferences are concerned, all ages prefer gift cards and certificates. And the second best thing on that list is clothes and clothing accessories. That's for all ages. That's for all genders, or for all who identify as whatever it is you identify as, for all human beings on this planet. The numbers, according to the National Retail Federation, say that all ages prefer number one overall, gift cards and certificates. Number two, clothes and clothing accessories. Now, while looking at ages and demographics and gender, all of these things do come into play. And again, if you were to go and look up some of this stuff for yourself, there's so much information. You're going to probably ask yourself, how did I come to only grab the information that I'm bringing to you now? It is not to curtsy any information. It is not to miss any information. The reason is I pulled the information I felt would be the most interesting and had the most consistent story to go together. And I also wanted to make sure that I was still telling the exact same story that would be told with all of the information involved. So my summary, because that's what this is a highlight of the fine points in which we shop during election years, or how we shop during holidays in general. Within my findings, I found that from the ages of 45 to 54, we have the steepest declines in every single interest that we have across the board. Clothes, jewelry, home improvement, home decor, home leisure, electronics, everything declines as we get older. And I do not think it is from a lack of ability. I think it is from a lack of interest. What does incline and has the largest incline as you get older is the purchase of other goods. A lot of those other goods come into play for yourself. Things that people would give you because they know you personally. People may know you like a particular athlete or a particular team, and they give you those type of things. As we get older, it seems, according to the numbers, that we're looking for more memorabilia, so to speak. We're looking for things that are closer to the heart, things that actually mean something to us. So if you give a 20-year-old a jacket of their favorite team, they're going to be excited. But if you give a 80-year-old or a 70-year-old a jacket of their favorite team, they're not only going to be excited, that's going to be something they remember and cherish. Just something to take with you as you go on. Now, one of the most interesting things I was able to find was the planned spin, excuse me, the planned spending amounts per age group. And I'm not going to bore you. We all can pretty much figure the planned spending amounts are the lowest for the youngest demographic. That would be your 18 to 24-year-olds. And equally as low for your seniors, which is a little interesting because most seniors, especially nowadays, they have grandchildren and they're out there splurging and doing that. Let's keep in mind also that a lot of grandparents today are not over 65. So what I found most interesting was from the ages of 35 to the age of 44, you are expected to spend the most money on gifts and things around the holidays. And for the record, in case I did not state that earlier, the majority of these spendings are on gifts. The majority of these spendings are on gifts for others and family members. I'll say that one more time. The majority of these spendings are on gifts for family members and for others, not for self. Now, again, from 35 to 44, that age group plan to spend the absolute most. They are expected to spend the most amount of money per holiday season. That amount is $1,182.45 per holiday season total on gifts and all the things that they would purchase during those seasons. Now, the things that they plan to spend the most amount of money on, I think is interesting. From 35 to 44, they're going to buy plenty of gifts. That is also the same age group that spends the most amount of gifts on coworkers, not friends, but coworkers, people outside of your immediate circle. But the thing that they plan on buying the most is gifts and food. Buying gifts, okay, everybody's doing that, it seems. It's the holiday season, whether it's an election year or not. It's a holiday season, so everyone's going to buy gifts. But food, I don't think we consider that when it comes to holiday shopping. There are holidays, there are gatherings, there's a large amount of food consumed. So that is definitely in the tier of the top purchases during the holiday seasons. Now, as far as election years go, as I stated, there's an influx. There's the year leading in, the year of the election, the year coming out of the election. Food and gifts are still number one every single year. And gifts supersede food. Gifts supersede food. People are giving more than they are eating during the holiday season. During the electoral holiday seasons, people are virtually not eating, but they are purchasing large amounts of food because there are still gatherings. Think about it. You buy food, people come to your house, you have a huge gathering, and if you really consider, although you spend all this money on this food, if you eat one plate, but you spent, say, $500-600, you didn't eat. And that's not a bad thing. That is how holidays work sometimes, especially if you are the person who supplies the food for your gathering. However, the planned spending amounts between men and women, I found this more interesting than not. Now, keeping in mind that these are the numbers for spending habits on gifts, on food, on jewelry, everything all inclusive, books, electronics. What is it you like? Makeup, your cosmetics. And this is actually another season as well. During the holidays, a lot of cosmetics are purchased. A lot of sales are had for cosmetics. Now, the spending habits for men versus women during the holidays, and this is not for electoral holidays, but holidays in general, men are expected to spend $1,105.97 for every holiday season. Women are expected to spend $896.79 on average. These are average numbers of what men and women are expected to spend, are projected to spend during the holiday season. Now, when we're looking at what someone's projected to spend, how much it all comes together down to what it looks like, you know, where's all of this money going? These are all purchases, right? So there's going to have to be a couple of different sections, and I have them here for you. Now, these sections are broken into gifts, non-gifts such as decorations, and other things for self and for family. I've broken it first into family only gifts, gifts overall, what kind of, excuse me, what type of decorations, I couldn't read my own writing there, some decorations and how much people are expected to spend on decorations, as well as miscellaneous and or other spending. And I will also give you the total for every election year from 2004 to 2020 projected. So purchasing plan, the plan for purchases for family gifts during the election year. In 2004, you were expected to spend on family alone $405. In 2008, $389. In 2012, $423. In 2016, $486, while this year in 2020, for family alone, you are expected to spend at least $502 on gifts for your family alone. That does not include you. Now, total gifts, that includes yourself, that includes friends, that includes coworkers. Maybe you wanted to buy your neighbor something, anyone who is not family and or yourself, which it's weird that in some of these sections you are included in the family section and then in some you are not. Not exactly sure why, but that is why I'm going to report it to you the way I am so that you understand both sides of that. So total gifts altogether for the election year of 2004 was at $539.46. Total gifts in 2008, $526.13. 2012, $550.56. 2016, $588.90. And in this year of 2020, we are expected in total to spend $650.47 on gifts for family, coworkers, friends, and all other people you plan on spending, or excuse me, on purchasing holiday related gifts or gifts for in general during these holidays. Now, let's now add, I really got to learn how to write better. That's the third time I can't read that same word. Let's also add decorations. Now, I was a little surprised. I don't know anyone who, maybe I do. I am not aware if I know anyone who purchases this decorations at this level every holiday, but I could definitely be wrong. I don't think I've ever inquired or, paid attention to who buys holiday decorations and or if they buy new ones, or if they recycle them, what they do. With that being said, in the year of 2004, the election year of 2004, decorations, the spending on decorations was $162.53. In 2008, the spending on decorations was $167.87. 2012, $201.68. 2016, $207.07. And this year of 2020, on decorations alone, you are expected to spend $230.01 on decorations. Maybe it's just me, because I thought that, Christmas lights and those kind of things, everything with the exception of a Christmas tree, was at the Dollar Tree or at the dollar store, the discount store already. So I'm a little surprised that this number is so high. But if I am being very honest, although I only really see, gifts at the dollar store and things, I don't even purchase them. I don't buy them myself. So I don't know what would happen if I were to buy a few things and then decide, that's not enough. I need to go back because I don't have everything I need for my level of decorations. Maybe that's what happens when people are spending $200 on decorations every single year. I'm not sure. However, I am aware that probably about 40% of that is your tree alone, if you're buying the tree for Christmas. So I'll let you live. There's no need for me to turn anyone up on that one. But moving on from that, we now have your expected spending on anything that is not a gift. Anything that is not a gift. Now, remember what I said. It's almost as if during the holidays, we definitely spend more on the gift aspect than we do on the food aspect. But food is number 2 behind gifts. So it's interesting. So under other, you may have food and some other things wrapped up in there, but these are non-gift purchases during the holiday season. Election year 2004, other purchases was at $88.99. In 2008, other purchases were at $106.67. In 2012, $140 with 43 cents. 2016, other purchases were at $139.61. While this year, in the year of 2020, on the back end of everything that's been going on in the year of 2020, you're expected to spend on other / miscellaneous purchases $117.31. Yes, that is a decline compared to all the other numbers of expectations. That is a decline compared to the previous election years, granted. However, let's get on to the total amount of money you're expected to spend, not just this year, but for the previous election years that I was able to find. So total spending would include your gifts, your non-gift purchases, and your non-gift, and your decorations as well. Adding together all of those things, here is what we come to. In the year of 2004, you were expected to and or did spend from the projection $790.98. In 2008, $800.67. 2012, $892.67 was the total amount of spending projected and reported. In 2016, the total amount of spending reported was $935 with 58 cents. While this year, our current year, 2020, on the back end of everything that's happened in 2020, post-election, we are expected to spend in our holiday season $997.79 between your family, your friends, and your miscellaneous purchases. That is what we are projected to spend and put back into the market per person, not per household, per person in this country, as far as our economy is concerned. Now, the accumulation, the level in which I pulled this information, I am no scholar. I am no expert. I am a concerned consumer. And what this tells me is no matter what's happened this year, no matter how anything else is going, no matter how you feel about this election, and no matter how you've ever felt about any election, what you are expected to do, what I'm expected to do, is go about life as usual when it comes to the holidays and spending. That is why these projections exist. These projections also exist simply because this is what we have shown that we do when the holiday seasons come around. We get up, we either get online, we go down to the department store if we like something there, we go on to the outlets, or maybe even, you might like something that's been hanging, depending on where you live. You might hang in a little mom and pop shop, you saw something hanging, you're like, it's the holidays, I'm going to splurge, treat myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we do. My only purpose tonight with sharing this information is to make us all aware that we're not the only ones treating ourselves, to make us all aware that they're very aware that we like to treat ourselves. And not to tell you not to treat yourself, but to tell you that If it's an electoral holiday season and you decide to treat yourself, hold yourself accountable for what you're treating yourself to. Are you buying gifts for everyone else, or are you buying gifts for yourself? Both are good. Both work. I think both will satisfy the masses. But ask yourself, if these numbers could talk, would you be satisfied with your spending? I know I am. There's nothing else I can say on that. So when I look at everything and I really think to myself, this isn't bad information. This is, in my opinion, information that we all need. This is information that we all should be looking for. I know for a fact that 40% of my holiday shopping is online already. It's already been, not 60%, 60% say they would, but for me, I've probably got about 40% of it in there alone. So let's keep in mind as we go through things that if we want to say we want to keep our mom and pop shops, if we want to keep our brick and mortars, that was one of the most important pieces of information I got from this research. If we want to keep our brick and mortars, and if we really appreciate those who work in those places, we have to get up and get out. We have to go shop. And we can't just do, and when I say we have to go shop, we have to do it in person. We're going to shop anyway. This entire episode was about the projections to show improved. We're going to shop anyway. But if we're going to say that we want to keep things open, we have to get up and go out. I didn't expect that to come out of this research, but that's what came out of it. 60% of online shopping for all of us. So if we are going to be projected to spend $997.79 individually, each of us, let's probably spend 60% of that in person. I appreciate you for spending your time with me. I appreciate you for listening, and not just for listening, but for absorbing and potentially doing your own research. My name is KEILYN. Take a trip over to thinkering.space. Check out some of our merchandise during this holiday season. Let us know if you like anything. Purchase what you do like. By all means, we would love to be in your other selections, and or if you would like to give some of our merchandise to your family members, we would love to be in your family gift section. Visit our YouTube and subscribe. Send us some information on yourself. Let us know what our fans and everyone who really appreciates what we're doing. We want to know what you think and what you're up to. For If Numbers Could Talk, my name is KEILYN. Thank you. Have a good one.